Good morning, and welcome to this day's episode of the Black Man Spy podcast, day 24/158 since the start of the U.S.-Iran war. If you're wondering why I am not in my luxurious palatial writing office, it's because the place that I'm at in New York has a three-county-wide fiber optic outage. There is no internet anywhere that comes through the residences or even the businesses. I'm using 5G because I am in the middle of a city, so I'm doing okay there. But Jesus, I mean, just imagine. I mean, the people are going nuts. Their Facebook page, everyone's like, "Where's the internet? I got to go to work. I'm doing this. I'm doing that." Out, all out. So I get to hang out downtown at one of my favorite cafes. Malakopoulos asked the question that I said, first thing I said to Wajeeh and Jacob. I go, guys, the Iranian fiber optic cable. So we'll have to, we'll just have to deal with it. I'm telling you, they came all the way up the Hudson River, west of Manhattan, and they dragged a chain across it and they cut it. All of upstate New York is out of fiber optic. Uh-huh. Oh, there's Muscat Sally and my buddy Funky. How you guys doing? Muscat Sally is very, very, very nice lady. And we all know Funky, he's my man. And Richard, those are my three homeboys in Paris. Paris. Yeah, they have to live there. So yeah, in a down. So, hey, Toledo, Ohio. So, welcome to this morning's episode. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of crazy shit is happening, but it's happening in a nice way, not the usual nutty missiles flying in every direction way. Missiles apparently are only flying in one half the directions now. So, you don't have to worry about two-way exchanges of warfare. Right now, they're just blowing up ships and sinking them left and right. We'll get to that. Good morning, Jacob Carsbo, Danish intelligence officer extraordinaire. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm not in my luxurious writing office. I'm in my basement gym, which is nice and cold, and I've got my screen here behind me and my red screwdriver. So everything's good.
So long as you have the screwdriver. I have to show you guys something. This cafe that I go to in the morning has the best floral arrangements. You can just sitting outside, and every morning the gardener comes here and waters these floral arrangements. And you know what it makes me think? Man, I would like to have a job where I could just sit around and water the freaking plants for money rather than have to deal with Iran and Trump. But no, and that's why I have Wajeeh, the gay lion, reporting in from Minneapolis, Minnesota, who provides a calming, soothing environment that is very much like a bunch of plants. Hey, Wajeeh, how are you today?
Good, good. How are you, my friend?
Oh, well, without Wi-Fi, but doing all right. Um, Well, things are going good here. However, according to the geopolitical matrix that we're all living in, things are not going particularly well in the Gulf states and the Gulf region. So,
No,
with that, today is again day 24 and 158 days since this war has started. And Roger is still going on. Somebody said, Roger. Diane K says, Waj is like a teddy bear with little red cheek. Embarrassing. You're our teddy bear, Waj. Yeah.
what's
Okay.
up?
That's very true, but he's a, he's a daddy bear. That's his thing. Okay. First, can we take a look at oil? Because oil is literally schizophrenic right now. I cannot
It is.
figure out what the hell's going on with the oil market with regards to the geopolitical
It's
market, because those two things, they are no longer attached.
if you want to know the honest answer, where's my phone stand? Well, I could just tell you real quick. WTI is
Just tell us
sitting
the
at
numbers.
76.47. Brent crude is sitting at $80.56. Marban is sitting at 79 exactly. Uh, OPEC is sitting at 80.42. This is only like slight increases of $1 to $2 max.
Mm. Is that an increase or a decrease?
An increase of $1 to $2.
Oh, in the last day? Wow, something's going on. I guess when you blow up tankers in the Red Sea and force them to, as we're going to talk about in a minute, hit Saudi tankers near Yanbu and then blow up Indian container ships to the point where that container ship exploded, caught fire, capsized, rolled over, and sank yesterday. That might have an impact on the oil market. Just a little bit.
It could.
Oh, that's what's going on there. Well, you think so? Because it was dropping like a rock yesterday. Yesterday, it was dropping like a complete and total rock. There was absolutely nothing going on in the market.
It dropped? Did the market drop?
No, not really. See us. It's very loud. That is our local village crazy guy who, who just came by to deliver to me 2 pine cones. So
Isn't that wonderful?
he said that he ran for mayor last year. You know, every town's got him. He's got the big white bushy Santa Claus beard and walks around and with a very loud voice. And
But
he
he didn't
said he
win
ran
it.
for mayor. He ran for mayor. He was come on the show because sitting next to me just talking. Every time I mentioned Yemen, he would say, "Well, what's going on in Yemen?" So, anywho's, yesterday there was a big drop in the price of oil after Scott Bessent's statement that the markets were awesome and a deal was coming in 24 hours, and the market dropped $5 to $7 per barrel. Apparently, the lived experience of watching ships blow up, burn, and sink has pushed that up $1. So Trump bullshit will drop the markets down $7, but an actual ship attack with explosions and loss of life will only push the market up $1.
Yeah.
Somebody else just said it a little bit ago. The market's delusional, but Mr. Global and the other traders are going, there is a psychology that's going on where they believe Trump and they don't believe the reality of the markets that they have been working on for their entire lives. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Nothing? Opium. Somebody says opium. I
Yeah.
hope it gets good.
It's Adderall. That's what it is.
It's got to be something. Anyway, hey, I've got a plain ground coffee
But
cup today.
it's interesting to see when reality hits, because it has to hit sometime, and most people would say there's going to be a shock sometime. But I saw this guy on Bloomberg saying, no, it's not. It's not tank bottom, etc., etc. But yeah,
I hope it's not,
yeah,
right? I hope.
yeah.
I mean,
It's
math. The math. There's a reason we have math. There's a reason we have numbers,
yeah.
and numbers tell us that we are low. That means we are low. When we used to have 2,400 missiles, now we only have 400 missiles. That's numbers. Those are just facts. It's like that's not opinion. Like you don't just get to change that because you want it to be changed.
Yeah.
No, sure.
Well, I think that the next episode, if this keeps going on, is going to be the Hopium cast, because I see the numbers are not great. And what we're seeing is people who have just said, hey, listen, the numbers aren't real or the numbers no longer matter. We know that this will get better. And it's sort of like I keep bringing up the example of what is it? The Big Short, the Big Short, right? They realized at the last minute the numbers were murderous and that their corporation was going out of business. And the collapse of Bear Stearns, right? That collapsed the global economy. They made a little money, kept their money. But I just keep thinking that these people in the market right now, they are Bear Stearns, only they're not listening to the guy that's telling them they're going to collapse. They're all like, no, bro, it's all good. Okay, we're taking a very, very big bet on our life, right? As somebody says, reality is not real, people. So let's move on to the significant activities. There were only one spectacular penetration, but there were several significant activities during the day. The first is what I refer to as Trump schizophrenia. Trump made comments yesterday related to the negotiations between Iran and Oman. And here's where schizophrenia comes in. One, the Iranians are telling everybody that this is a bilateral negotiation. The only people discussing this is Iran and Oman. What does that say? Oh, could you read that for us? I can't see. Read it.
Hopefully
What does it say?
it says hopefully these talks will bring the two sides together.
And it's Trump versus Trump, right?
That's the schizophrenia. That's the
schizophrenia we're talking about. But so the Iranians and the Omanis have been engaged in this negotiations over the Strait of Hormuz and fees. Oman was being backed by the Saudi side, and apparently somebody has injected Trump's wishes into this. But Trump yesterday made comments that the Americans were having very good discussions with the Iranians. And the Iranians are now still coming out and saying, you're not talking to us, we're talking to Oman. And that this is an agreement between Iran and Oman. But Trump seems to think that Oman is their negotiators and that all his statements are placing pressure on Iran for the United States. And this is what he said, that the United States, Iran, and Oman are having their, quote, very good discussions. You could almost see the Iranians going like, are the Americans in the room with us?
What? What?
No. The fact that the Iranians are like, no, we're not talking to you. Americans are like, see, they just responded.
They responded. It's got to be. They're talking.
So actually, we're part of it.
In the same briefing where Trump says, we, Iran, United States, Oman, our dog, that plant off to the side are having very good discussions. Then flipped and said, and if Iran doesn't agree to what we want, we'll hit them very hard. If not, they don't agree, quote unquote, very soon and open the Strait of Hormuz completely. Right?
Yeah.
And you can almost see the Omani and Iranian, negotiators going, what?
What?
Who's this guy? Right? It's just like close the door, shut off the internet, don't listen to the crazy man in the hallway. It's like the guy who is just over here who gave me the gift of 2 pine cones.
Or the drunk uncle at the party,
The drunk uncle at the party. I did them negotiations. I do some good. I'll get what Trump actually says. I'll get a negotiation in 5 minutes. It's easy because I just need another pint of bourbon. If Trump was drunk, I could understand all this. But he's just geriatric. It's dementia.
Yeah.
Axios is reporting. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, but it's interesting because the way Iran is playing it is like the wording of the MOU point 5, saying Iran and Oman will settle, a scheme to work out the safe passage, unfettered passage of the Strait of Hormuz, Iran and Oman. So they say, well, what? It's in there.
Well, Axios, which, as you know, is the stenographer of the mouthpiece, and I'm starting to get. It just really struck me. I didn't realize virtually everything that I was reading on Twitter by Barack Ravid, he puts out in Hebrew. I'm reading the translations. And it's like, oh, who does Barack Ravid work for? Does he work for an American newspaper, or does he work for an Israeli newspaper that has, people in Axios? What? Because I went back through all of these and I was like, these are all in Hebrew. He only puts his stuff out in Hebrew. Anyway, I know I get the Axios newsletter through my Gmail, and, they do have blurbs from him in there, but I just find that very interesting that he's the stenographer for the White House, which means, is he also Trump's mouthpiece to Benjamin Netanyahu?
Or Benjamin Netanyahu.
Anyway, they are putting out. Yeah. Well, he is putting out that the discussions are actually three-way. Iran, U.S., and Oman. That's how he describes them, as three-way negotiation. And I have seen nothing that says the United States is in the room with Oman and
Nothing at
Iran.
all.
I've seen nothing.
At all.
Yeah.
On the contrary, we've also seen third parties saying that it's only Iran and Oman.
Yeah, but it puts us in this difficult position to where, once again, what are we supposed to believe? What is it that they are going to announce? Oh, Jesus Christ, man. All right, the jokes are starting to fly down there. Somebody said, Michael Grober says, it's a three-way penetration. It's not even spectacular. So
when you're at a disco and the beat keeps going up and you're waiting for the drop and the drop never happens, that is exactly where everyone is at. Like the deal is here. The deal is here. Wait a minute. Oh, what? Nothing. And then nothing happens. It's exactly this exact routine that's happening. That I feel like now someone is there from telling Al Jazeera, it's like, oh, there's one or two issues remain, and then the Strait of Hormuz is absolutely open. Don't worry. That's like as of 7 minutes ago.
Oh my God. If you're wondering why I'm laughing, it's because I'm reading the comments down below, and they are hilarious. I'm not going to repeat them because they shouldn't be repeated in public. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Just FYI, I haven't told you guys in a long time to do this. To change the algorithm up on this show, we are still number 10 in world politics. You got to press that little hearts down there. People are sending up hearts and clowns, and yesterday was French flags and everything. Please press the button and share blue hearts. Oh, that's freaky. So
yellow.
Just do that, and that helps the algorithm bring people here, which is why by the end of the first hour, we get to about 2,000 followers. If we did a 2-hour show, we'd be 3,000 or 4,000 on here, because I find that people find it as the algorithm goes on. So just do that. Okay, let me talk about this. Barack Ravid also reports that the Iranians are asking for, wait for it, a 7% fee on everything that moves through the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first time I've ever heard a percentage on it. The only person who ever put a percentage on it before that was Donald Trump. Remember, he wanted a
20%.
20% fee.
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead, tell him. He wanted
But now he's
20%.
trying to talk the Iranians down to 5% from
A
7.
joint venture. A
This is
joint
beautiful.
venture. A joint
This is
venture.
beautiful. The Iranians came in with $2 flat maintenance fee, right? Environmental, fiber optic protection, don't get hit by an anti-ship missile fee. And now Trump comes in and injects percentages into this, starting with 20%. And now they're actually negotiating percentages. Okay, quick, somebody do the math on me. A typical very large crude carrier is a $100 million ship, which generally has a $500 million payload in it. What is 5% of 500 billion? That's what, 10 million, right? Am I doing the math right? So I think it's $10 million.
You have
So
a calculator?
here's the
What?
kicker. Somebody's doing it, don't worry.
Yeah.
The Iranians were only asking, they never even came with a percentage. They had a flat fee, which is would be 2% of that. And Trump is willing to give them 10 million per vessel or 5% of whatever the cost of the value of that vessel and its cargo. This is crazy. He's like, you want $500,000 for that house? No way I'm paying $500,000. You'll take $700,000, and that's my final offer, right? And the
Yeah.
homeowners sit there like, what just
All right.
happened? Okay, holy cow! And Trump is bitching about 7%, and I think that the Iranians caught on that he's a moron, and that they said, okay, you want to do percentages? Let's work down from your 20%. Because 20% would be $100 million, right? So
Yeah.
5% of 500 billion is 25. So
Yeah.
this is crazy. All they wanted was 2 million. They were like, okay, we'll take your deal. We'll start at 25 billion. We'll take your deal. Actually, it's million because I meant 500 million, not billion. They'll go, yeah. The Iranians think this is great. I think they're playing hardball. They're like, no, damn it. We're holding out for 5%, not 7. And they're like, this idiot doesn't know that 2 is smaller than 5.
It's the art of
So
the deal. It's the
that's
art
what's
of the
going on
deal.
with the negotiation part of the deal. You guys help me out. All right, Jacob, tell me about Saudi ship attack in North Red Sea.
Yeah, the Houthis have struck a Saudi tanker off Yanbu on its way to the Suez Canal. And
Ooh.
from Houthilandia
Wait.
to Yanbu, if I'm not mistaken, it's something like 1,000.
So the Saudis have been
Wait.
confirmed that
So
Houthis
was-
said the Houthis came out with a statement saying that they have attacked an oil tanker named Wafa in the northern Red Sea with a ballistic missile.
That's the one. So that ship is a Suez Max. That's its VLCC that goes to the Suez Canal, offloads half of its oil at the Sumed pipeline, and then goes through the Red Sea. I'm sorry, not the Red Sea, the Suez Canal at 50% capacity so that it doesn't drag along the bottom. Then unloads all of that oil back on near Alexandria. Now, that is a significant incident. Not as significant as the incident that happened at the bottom of the Red Sea yesterday with an Indian flag tanker named the Faiz Nur Aliyah. This ship was hit by an anti-ship missile yesterday, caught fire, had an explosion, rolled over, and sank. So this is why those two attacks, like oil jumped up $1 a barrel, which is funny because oil jumps up $1 a barrel for a physical ship attack on a very large crude carrier, but it drops $7 because the Treasury Secretary says, well, fuck it, we're going to have a imaginary deal today? Really? This is what I'm talking about. The market no longer reflects reality. A ship attack like that, verified anti-ship attack against Suezmax, and another one in which a ship explodes, sinks, capsizes, and it only affects the market by $1. That's weird.
Yeah.
Long story short, this only affects the U.S. credibility. When U.S. Treasury Secretary comes out and says we have a deal and there is no deal, that only affects U.S. credibility on the international market. Yes, in the short term, it is affecting and it is playing on the market manipulation. But again, every decision this administration and Baba Trump has been doing, it's been degrading the American trustworthiness on a global stage. As simple as that. You can lie to us today, but tomorrow we'll be remembering that.
But they keep on doing
Mhm.
it. You know, it's
Yeah.
and it's shocking that so many still buy it. You know, not least in the U.S. I mean, people actually believe that shit.
What I suspect is actually happening is that the Omanis and the Iranians are having bilateral negotiations. I believe that that's real. What I think is not real is that the Americans are involved. And I think that they believe that because Oman actually listens to us and then goes out and makes proposals. Because, like, the first one was, oh, by the way, I got to tell you about the latest proposal. The first proposal was the Omani waters would be the way in, would be the way out, and Iranian waters would be the way in. My favorite part of this story is yesterday, the Iranians proposed. They proposed a channel both in Iranian and Omani waters that overlaps, that actually transits the middle of the Strait of Hormuz. We can't actually
The
see
old
that here.
traffic separation scheme.
The original traffic separation scheme, that's what they proposed. The literal original traffic separation scheme that had been working for decades, right up until February 28th. The Iranians proposed that yesterday, like, I know a route that we could use.
Now
I
just under
find
the
that
Probably
control
way
of the
less headache for them
IRGC.
to manage.
Now controlled by the IRGC. That is fantastic and
But
therefore
it's
very
yeah.
safe.
it
Very
is less
safe.
headache for them to manage if it's not that close to the shores, right? They could still do their uh they could still do whatever they
Wajeeh,
want to do.
Wajeeh. No
Uh,
one managed this thing for thousands of years.
I'm saying it's
Just
less
till
headache if they
February
don't have to
28th.
deal with. Yeah, well, now they can charge
It's
and they
almost,
don't have to bring it to the port.
that's true, but it's almost an insult to the Americans. They're like, let's go back to the original scheme. That's in Iranian and Omani waters, but we'll charge now. And there's also a proposal from the Omanis that they would allow a European task force to sweep up the mines down there. So we talked about that before too. But the Iranians haven't said it, but they made it clear no U.S. warships will ever be allowed in the Persian Gulf again because it's their lake now. We turned the Persian Gulf into an Iranian lake.
Just
It's
like
crazy.
Putin turned the Baltic into Lake NATO.
Lake NATO, now it is, right? You screw up, only this is the reverse. The Iranians didn't have to do
Yeah.
anything
No.
except take a few bombs. All right. Okay, that's enough for the Strait of Hormuz, and we will see what happens here today if there's any breaking news. A deal, supposedly. Now, tell me if this doesn't sound familiar. This deal is supposed to be 60 days long. Does this sound familiar? 60 days. We're back to this bullshit.
Yeah.
And and it's also supposed to again end the state of conflict between Iran and the United States.
Why is it
So
longer than
technically,
Ramadan? You
Yeah,
can't make
there's
it
one
longer than
difference.
Ramadan.
longer than Ramadan
There's one
because you don't have
difference.
to. Yeah.
There's one important difference. Trump doesn't
Okay.
get to
I'm only.
sign it in the Versailles this time.
He
He
doesn't
doesn't get
sign it
to
in Versailles.
sign it in the Versailles this time.
No, he's going to go.
That is the big difference. Macron
He's
can
going to
say,
go to.
well done, Donald.
No,
No,
he's
wants
gonna
to
want
go
it to
to
sign
Hawaii.
it. What is it?
No,
The camp, David Camp in the U.S. What is it called? The presidential camp.
no. That was an actual peace deal. He's going to want this signed in Hawaii on the deck of the USS Missouri, where the
Mission
last
accomplished.
unconditional surrender was signed.
Unconditional surrender.
Jesus. Unconditional surrender by Trump to Iran. So we've got that to look forward to. Okay,
Man, at
that's
least
enough. I
Ramadan.
don't want to talk
There's
about
Eid
this.
after Ramadan, but every time they say a 60-day, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm about to go fasting for 60 days with no holiday afterwards. Every time they say 60 days. Where's the holiday? Yeah, please give me a holiday afterwards. No?
Well, somebody says you can go back to Versailles. We also have the option of going to Berlin and signing it in front of the fucking Reichstag, or something, some other place where there was an unconditional surrender. Anyway, let's move on. In other parts of the Middle East, Lebanon, the Israelis are claiming Hezbollah violated a ceasefire. I could not see where there were fighting or shooting from Hezbollah, but Israel bombed the town of Hadassah in Beit which is near Nabatea, and bombed it good. So there's speculation that Israel is trying to, of course, kill any peace deal that may come out of this, because don't forget, all of this is supposed to include Lebanon. So we will see
Uh,
about that. But, the Israelis, they bomb because they see a target. I think they
the,
don't care whether it supports a peace deal or hurts a peace deal. If they see an opponent, they kill them. So it's an operational philosophy. What do you think?
the Israelis' latest attack on southern Lebanon was as soon as 20 minutes ago. They said they have started precision strikes in southern Lebanon, and that they are not leaving. They said they're not leaving from Gaza, and they're not leaving from Lebanon, and they're not leaving from Julan. This is a very blatant statement by Netanyahu to his supporters and to the far right that their work on expansion is not going anywhere. Israeli supremacy is here, and that your vote should still come to us. You have to understand, Israel still have an election. You do have the far right in control, and the reality that we are talking about in the US totally differs than the reality that Netanyahu wants.
Mhm.
He wants to expand this war into Iran. I don't know how he thinks he can afford to do it, but all I could see is he's trying to continue in this war so he can stay in power. If he's out of power, he has to go through the courts for his corruption schemes that he has been running through Israel. And as long as he's in power, he can stay away from that. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can. There is blatant recklessness regarding human lives and global economy. And we are forgetting the actual cost that this is causing on world hunger. Millions and tens of millions are people already are in hunger because of this situation, and this is not causing any. This is not bringing any closer to a peace deal. And that's the strategy that Israel has, is continue escalating.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote that Trump's grandson's Lebanese. You think he would have some sympathy for the Lebanese people? He does. Lebanese money. He doesn't have any sympathy outside of that. You guys, quit trying to give him, the belief that he has any measure of compassion in it. He doesn't. Okay, that's Lebanon. Syria. We have to talk about the weird Syrian, Iran, or Iraq border crisis. I am getting no information whatsoever other than that the Syrian army went to a level C mobilization, which is very interesting because the letter C does not exist in Arabic. so, so what is it? You have level Aleph and level Bab and level Tha, Ba, Tha. Okay, level Tha. Okay, Thou. That's the level that they went to. Thou for Thaura,
Taura.
right? Watch. Aleph for
That's right.
all clear.
Aleph for what?
Aleph A, Aleph for all clear. Level
Oh,
B,
clear.
level B for Bab. Open the
Bab
Bab.
al-Mandab.
Level Tha, level Baba Mendem. Level Tha is Thaura, which is revolution.
Thawra.
So they must be at the revolution
Taura.
stage. Question. Why is the Syrian army, which is not actually an army, but a collection of militias that all came together to fight ISIS and then fight the Syrian government, are mobilizing somebody goes, level Abba. So, all right, we're up to the Abba jokes already. So why would they do this? And then why would they be deploying forces to the Iraqi border? Question. Is it the stopping Iraqi Shia militias? Or is there an ISIS regeneration threat up near the oil fields that we just don't know about?
What has been
Think.
stated earlier this week is actually that it is the Iraqi Shia militia that is gathering in the border areas over in the western part
Really?
of Iraq. Yeah. And
What are they going to invade Syria?
I don't know what they're going to do, but it seems like it is an Iranian play to put pressure on Syria.
Really?
Yeah.
They better hope the irregular Iraqi army doesn't start getting interested in this because it would be Team Iraq all the way. I mean, they
Yeah.
wouldn't even know the Iraqis are in Syria until they were on the eastern outskirts of Damascus.
Julani, can
To
I
tell you the
afford
truth.
a war like this, honestly? Syrian people are not interested in war. Their economy has been struggling from 12-year war, from 2011 all the way till last year. The situation is very dire. They're just starting to have people invest in their economy. Anything that could disrupt that instability will be very devastating to all of the work that has gone through that. So I genuinely hope that they don't go toward that direction, and I
But
really wish that Trump and everyone
Wajeeh, this is
stays away.
precisely the vulnerability that the Iranians are trying to exploit. That is
Yeah.
precisely it, because they were beaten so badly in Syria, and they were partly beaten because the Israelis actually were doing a commendable counter-terror campaign against Hezbollah in Syria, against the IRGC networks in Syria, and that enabled the whole revolution. But now it seems
Right.
that the Iranians think maybe we can make a play here because they haven't been shored up in Syria. We're seeing what the Israelis and what the Americans are doing. So maybe we can, exploit this weak area.
Oh, I can't even imagine. I mean, just imagine if the Iranians sent over 5,000 IRGC really quickly, right? Over to go with the Heshid Shabi and then invade Syria. You would see the Jordanian army have to invade. I mean, this is crazy that we're even talking about it. But let's
Yeah.
watch
The
it. Let's keep
fact
our eye
that
on this so that we can
the
find out.
fact
Somebody said New
Yeah.
York Times did a drug running story on the area. Yeah, a lot of drugs come out of there, but
Yeah.
this is the big empty Western desert and the tri-border area.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
But
Jake.
but if we just roll back 2 weeks, or is it 3 weeks, when Donald Trump was peddling all this nonsense about the Syrian army dealing with Hezbollah.
Right.
Maybe this gave the Iranians and the Hezbollah Shabi ideas, and to start sowing the seeds of new conflict, and to get the Americans into even more trouble, because that's what they live off. So they'd like to expand it, and to create trouble, and also with what the Israelis are doing in the West Bank, that puts, and in the holy sites in Jerusalem now. This is happening right now, and that is bringing Jordan into all sorts of trouble. And
I mean,
this is good for the
you
Iranians.
bring
This is
a
good for the Iranians.
you bring a good point,
Yeah.
but here's my counterpart. What Iran has focused on mostly now is on its allies who already have an established militias in their own regions. They haven't asked anyone to expand. And the reason they haven't asked anyone to expand is because they are already very limited and they're trying to be very strategic. You make very good points. But if you think about it a little bit further, you'd go, if I start expanding and furthering away more of my military, I start losing, because that's when people can start cutting my resources. This is when I am drive thin is when I'm weakest. But if I still focus on my strongholds and still attack Bab el Mandab, still attack the Strait of Hormuz, attack the Suez Canal, that is alone is very, very powerful. I think it would weaken and to start thinking about spreading into Syria, especially that they are trying to fight the Israelis off in southern Lebanon, and they no longer have access to Hamas. They are almost cut out from the Houthis at the moment. So they're really trying to be strategic at this moment. So I think they are thinking twice about what kind of expansion they have.
Mm. Yeah, but
Interesting.
still, this whole subversive character that they have. Maybe the play is not overt conflict in Syria, but rather to spread out Syrian security forces, and weaken the Syrians, and also weaken the Jordanians, due to what is happening with the pressure on Jordan from the Israeli side, and the Iranians wanting to make this problem deeper for the Israelis at the same time. So the extremists in the settlement movement in the West Bank are helping the Iranians. The Iranians want to exploit it even further.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yep.
Let's see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of Israel, for our last trick today, Israel has officially and formally rejected the Board of Peace's proposal on the disarmament of Hamas, which everybody in Hamas is going, no one's talking to those guys. And Israel says they will act independently and unilaterally as they see fit to disarm Hamas with as many bullets and rockets as they can get. So there are clearly two different worlds happening here. Is Israel even on the fake board of peace? I don't even think they are. Did they put up $1 billion? I think that this is an investment fund for a 25-kilometer beach district, which will ethnically cleanse 2.2 million people. And at
Yeah.
that point, I have been like, I can't use the G word. right? I'm not seeing genocide. But guess what? Another factor of genocide is ethnic cleansing. And I've seen ethnic cleansing with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Rwanda, Somalia, Bosnia Herzegovina. I was right there when they were ethnically cleansing entire compounds and wiping out 2,000 people in summary executions. Yeah, I've seen that. But I think that I'm starting to believe that Jared Kushner and Trump, their ultimate goal is they will ethnically cleanse Gaza,
Yeah.
and that's genocide. That will be
What
straight up
what
G word. They
what
have
is
the
happening with
aspiration of it alone.
what's happening with the composition of the board of peace? Because of one of the real strong men on the board there, Viktor Orban, was ousted.
Viktor Orban.
He was
That's
ousted.
okay.
So is he still on the
Victor
board?
Orban can stay. He can stay on the board of peace because he lives in America now.
Yes. And as I mentioned the other day, Lukashenko, also another good, very a strong leader. Fucking what a
Strong
brain trust!
Democratic leader.
What a
What a
brain trust!
brain trust.
I would go to the UN any day before I would go and meet with Mohammed Bonsa at the Board of Peace. They would make me a shawarma at the Board of Peace in a minute.
Yeah, just crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is all that we have for today. I don't have the capacity to take questions right now. I will bring a question chat up when I get Wi-Fi back online. And then, because I have to stay here and upload this show using 5G. So it's going to be loads of fun. I do have still have an appeal. You guys remember that we were buying vehicles for carforukraine.com, which was going to Team Jedi out now in the central eastern battlefront, obviously with those chicks from Lioness, right? This is an international Legion unit that is attached to a Ukrainian unit, and carforukraine.com. We have raised enough money for a new truck for them. And carforukraine.com says, hey, you've actually raised enough money for half of a second truck. So I'm going to be putting that link on. If you guys want to throw $5 to them, $10 to them, it will go to a good cause. And actually, the top donors will have their name on the car. Unfortunately, due to the way things are in Ukraine, vehicles, people, weapons are consumables, right? And as I tell people, I had a truck. I had this incredible adventure truck. I bought a Nissan Pajero from Poland. It got hit by a drone a month ago, obliterated, and everybody was like crying. They were like, Malcolm, your truck was the longest running truck in our battalion, and it ate a FPV drone. Fortunately, the guys got out of it and the truck was lost. The guys were not. So somebody goes, what good is half a truck? Correct. We're going to raise money for the second half of that second truck.
Typically, these vehicles last around about a month. Behind the front line, and that's why they need so many cars. And I've been taking vehicles down there for the Danish version of Cars for Ukraine. That is also called Cars for Ukraine, just in Danish. And that's how it happens. The turnover. The Danish Cars for Ukraine has sent almost 1,000 vehicles to.
I'm telling you, these
to Ukraine,
and you've got to understand some things. The Ukrainians have 900,000 men and women in uniform on the battle line. This is World War I levels of manpower out there. So that's our trucks, my battalion's trucks lasted a long time. My truck lasted 4 years. Right? Everybody was like, Malcolm,
that is rare. That is rare.
My battalion commander loved that truck so much. He's Ukrainian. Before he transferred over to GUR, to Ministry of Defense Intelligence Special Forces, and he was trying to take the truck with him. And the new battalion commander was like, bullshit, that truck stays. It was that truck had gone all the way to North Africa. It was a Polish adventure racer, and he had lifted it. He created a bed in the back. It had Wi-Fi. It had all these things in the truck. And it was a huge, super powerful truck. And it went all over the Sahara Desert. And then I bought it at full price in Poland and then gave it to the Ukrainian army. And it was at one point, the drone team was using it because it can only carry two guys in it. And then my battalion commander's like, well, battalion commander and executive officer. That's two guys. But he would go out there and stand on the roof. There was a roof top on it. He would put up the big binoculars and watch the fighting and stuff like that. But those days are gone because now drones will just eat you, right?
Yeah.
Drones you got to go in as fast as you can, drop whatever you turn around, go out as fast as you can. So
Yeah.
I will be putting that link back up there. Please go ahead.
I really want to interview the Yemeni soldiers and the Sudanese soldiers that were caught by the Ukrainian military. I think like that there hasn't been enough interviewing these guys and getting their stories out there because many of them are human trafficked to
Well,
go
that would
fight a
be
war they
interesting.
never agreed on.
Early on, I was asked to, when we had Syrians, we had 11,000 Syrians were scheduled to come into Ukraine. And that's why I was
Wow.
brought over to Gur at one point. And they have Arab Ukrainians there. They have guys who are bilingual, very good interrogators and things like that. But like, for example, when the North Koreans, they captured those North Korean soldiers, South Korean intelligence had to come to Ukraine and conduct the interrogations. And the North Koreans talked because the Ukrainians were so nice. And then suddenly, how the South Korean CIA is, right? KCIA. They come in there, and it's like, I'm going to beat your ass. And the first things the South Koreans said was, we're going to tell Kim Jong-un, you cooperated with us fully, and then we're sending you home. And then suddenly it's like, I have a lot to say.
Yeah.
Just don't tell Kim Jong-un that we cooperated with you.
It's just been revealed
same thing with
today
these
that
Syrians.
the North Koreans are sending a full unit of ballistic missile forces to Vorosny in Russia, along with 120 ballistic missiles to shoot in.
I got to
at
move because
Ukraine.
the gardener is doing something. I heard 30,000 troops. There you go. It's like my garden.
Yeah, they've been talking about that as well, but I think this ballistic missile unit is in addition.
Well, the thing is, I think the North Koreans want to test their ballistic missiles.
Mm.
And there's no better place to do it than bombarding Ukraine with them. So, fuckers.
And the recent
Crazy.
strikes, the Russians have also fired Korean KC-30 ballistic missiles, I think it's called.
That's crazy. And we're not helping them. We got Trump out there fucking off. All right. Okay, screwy. All right, I didn't mean for this to become a Ukraine show. But thanks for everybody who's watching. If you've been watching this on YouTube, that means you missed the show. Oh, Jacob Carswell has something to say. What do you got to say?
Just an announcement.
Or you just saying goodbye?
Tomorrow night, I'm having a paid subscribers Q&A on Greenland, just to update on what the hell has been going on. What the hell has been going on? Look at Malcolm's cap, and we didn't even synchronize these messages. But just to explain what's been going on, what we know about the subversive activities that have been happening of late. I'll give a roundup on that, and take all the questions.
This reminds me to mail you. I will express mail you your hats. I have two. One that says it's like this, and it says already great. And the other is the Nook and Nook, hat that you have been waiting for.
Nook.
I also
do you have anything going?
Yeah, I am interviewing Dexter Ingram this coming Friday about counterterrorism in the Middle East. Yes, thank you for introducing me to him. He's an amazing guy.
Yeah, Dex has
You're
been wanting
welcome
to
to
come on.
You're welcome to join if you want to talk about counterterrorism as well. I am also still fundraising for my U.S. citizenship to apply for that. It's
Oh,
about $6,000. So if you haven't subscribed to me,
$6,000, buddy.
yeah,
Real.
we just need a whole bunch of you to become paid subscribers. It's not that many, and if you become a paid subscriber, you're fully funding me to become a U.S. citizenship. I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
I agree. That's why I'm a paid subscriber of Watch in the upper tier. So, okay,
Thank
guys,
you.
thanks for coming. I will talk to you all tomorrow, and we will see you on the next beach. All right? Bye.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye.